you come up with the choreography?
Oh geez, I don't know, in my room.
When you were sitting in psychology class at the University of Texas, did you ever think in a few years you would be on the terrace of the Long Center during South by Southwest leading hundreds of Austinites in a mega dance class?
No, never. I thought I would graduate and get a sales job and just make my parents happy, make some money, and just go about my life just thinking, oh, I used to love to dance.
Instead, now dance is your whole life.
Yes.
How did we get here?
Well, I did go into that sales job right after college. I felt a cognitive dissonance because I was like, you know, am I that entitled millennial who's just not happy with a job that other people would be so happy with? And after a few years, I thought, no, this is me wanting to make a change in my life. And so I just started taking classes outside of my corporate job, a Zumba class that I thought was just looked so fun. And then I got certified to teach group fitness. From there, one class turned into a bigger class, and then it just kind of blew up from there.
And here we are. Now you're leading a dance movement in Austin, Texas, MelodyDanceFit. What is it about dance that makes people happy?
It's two things. One, most people think that they can't do it, so they just don't. And two, I think people forget that it's very human to want to move your body. I mean, if you've ever been around a baby and you put on music, even babies, they don't even know how to walk, but they know that they want to move to music.
They know how to groove.
Yeah, they do. And it's therapeutic, and I think it makes people happy to do it with other people. They just are terrified of it. But once you can do it once, it really can brighten your day in a way that you didn't expect it to.
That is one thing that's been central to the work that you do, is you've created this community around dance. What does that look like?
As much as social media is great, I think we need the in real life connection more than ever. I wanted to provide a fitness class, a fitness community where people didn't have to feel like they had to be perfect, or they had to know everything that they were doing, or they had to be happy all the time. So it's really morphed into this community that creates a space for the light and the darkness in your life, because I think both of those need to be honored for you to really, truly celebrate who you are.
Going to one of Melody's classes is like going to church, and I'm not the only person who thinks that. So what is it that you're trying to achieve in each class besides just the movement part?
I want people to feel connected to themselves and connected to other people. When you become an adult, you stop playing. You really stop doing those things that you used to do for hours in your room or with your friends. And so my biggest goal is to, in that 1 hour, teach them to get out of their heads and to play. And remember that being playful and feeling stupid is actually really euphoric for you and your physical health and your mental health. Yes. It's good to put yourself out of your comfort zone and go a little crazy. So that's my main goal in class.
So not forgetting to dance like when you were a kid, or having a Gigapet or an Easy Bake Oven, they're all important, right?
Yeah.
So you have a community now, but we know it takes a while for things to grow and to build them. So what did your first class look like?
So my first class was in a studio in South Austin called Corazon Latino, and it was the first time I decided to branch out of the studio and do my own dance fitness brand, incorporating the philanthropy of Dress for Success. So I wanted to donate from the very first class a portion to the nonprofit. I was so excited that I had 10 people in class. Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, 10 people who chose this class. And I always try to remember that whenever I see a class that's maybe not as big as I had hoped. I always try to think back, like, the people who showed up, those are the people who matter to me right now, and that's just as great as having 100 people in class.
Yes. Were you nervous on that first day that anyone would come?
Oh, absolutely. I'm still nervous to this day that people won't show up to class or my events. You can ask anybody. I'm always just like, what if people don't come?
But they're coming. So we had 10 in class number 1. What's the biggest class you've had so far now?
Around 300 for some of the bigger outdoor events, yeah.
What's the biggest transformation you've seen that dance has helped someone?
It's funny because sometimes I don't know right off the bat, but I always figure out because I get these beautiful long messages from people who come to my class. And the biggest thing that I've heard is that one person told me that they were able to leave an abusive relationship because the messages in class and the movement and the community really helped her feel strong and connected to herself. Another thing was somebody dealing with ovarian cancer. A lot of inspiring people come to these classes, and more than the dance, more than me, it really is just this community that is safe for people to feel however they feel.
In my personal opinion, you know you've made it when someone dresses up as you for Halloween. And I saw a group of girls be MelodyDanceFit. They had their little earpiece on and they were grooving and they like gave their sermons. How'd you feel when you saw that?
I loved it. I loved it so much. I talked to the girl who dressed up as me and she thought that she had offended me. She was like, I was so afraid that you'd be offended, and I was like, no, I think this is incredible.
So since you didn't necessarily formally train to become a dance teacher, and yet now you're leading these highly successful dance classes in Austin and beyond, what advice would you give to someone else who wants to do something that they feel like they might not be ready to do, but they have that passion for?
Well, as long as you have the passion for it, I think that's the #1 key thing, and nobody ever feels ready to do anything that scares them. The biggest thing that they can do is just continue to show up even when they don't feel ready. And I still don't know what I'm doing. I mean, in my big event recently on Sunday, I opened up with saying, hey, I still don't exactly know what I'm doing, but I know why I'm doing it. And I think if you can stay in touch with why you're doing it, it will give you the courage to show up even when you're really scared.
What great advice. I love that. I'm feeling a little scared right now because I think we're about to go move it and groove it, but you know I love dancing too. So you talked about teaching people to dance that think they can't dance. So
yes.
you have some moves for us today that would be appropriate for that person who tells you, oh no, I just don't dance. Is that right?
Absolutely. Moves and some tips for, you know, when you're at a wedding and you're the only one not dancing and you feel like the awkward person in the room, or if you are out one night and you want to loosen up, but you're like, I don't know what to do. I just have some really easy tips to make you look a little bit more comfortable on the dance floor.
Let's go groove, shall we? You
Let's
know
do it.
what else helps you make it look a little more comfortable?
Oh,
a cocktail right
a
before.
little bit of a cocktail.
So this is my happy place. Let's get our groove on, girl.
Okay, so I want to show you what I would tell somebody who thinks that they can't dance at all.
Okay, let's do it.
But first, no drinks allowed in class. So
now we're ready.
okay, so first I'm gonna have you move your body in the direction that we're going. So it's just
I'm
gonna be
so
one,
Okay.
2. So you go 1, 1, 2. There you go.
Oh my.
This girl knows how to move.
Oh dear.
Once you feel like your body is starting to memorize it,
Is it?
that's when it is. I see you too.
Okay.
Okay. So now I want you to kind of start getting into it a little bit more.
Oh,
yeah.
She is getting into it, folks. Is this what it looks like in your class?
This is actually exactly how I'll start out the classes. I want them to kind of just get the easy motion of things.
So what does the format of the class look like?
It's monkey see, monkey do. And your first time is always a little bit of a whirlwind, but everybody is supportive, everybody's nice. So now we're gonna change it up a little bit. We're just gonna like do a little tap, tap.
Oh my
It's a little hip hop move.
Okay. Are you tapping your toe
like,
or your
I
heel?
feel like I'm basically that woman in that meme that's like, this is hip hop, right? Now let's go right here. Single, single, double. Let's do it again. Single, single, double. One more time. Single, single, double. Now let's tap. Hey, okay, Taylor.
Okay, what do you have to throw a turn in here or something?
And then now you can get low and shake your little.
I'm breathing, folks. All right, let's do it our way out of here, shall we?
Yes, Taylor.
Okay.
Can you sub for me on Monday, actually?
Please.
Now let's tap. Let's tap. Hey, hey.
Okay, let's just cut the cameras, everybody. It was nice hanging with you, Melody.
Yes.
See you at your next class.
Fun.
Okay.